My name is Tony Romero. I'm a community organizer with Latinos United for a New America. I'm here to discuss a project that we are partnering with the Community College District, and we want to get your opinions. That's why we have this format, because we want this to be an interaction, a presentation, just to get your feedback, your opinion, and we're gonna envision how our community could thrive and succeed at a community college. And before we continue, just wanna define envisioning just means imagining the different possibilities of the future. So how you will envision yourself or your kids at a community college, and how that will help your community thrive and succeed. And once we start with the discussions, I will go over a little bit of information about what a community college offers. And then once we start the discussion, if you wanna raise your hand to give your opinion, and yeah, we can continue that interaction between us. It would also help me if you can share what zip code do you live in, just so that it could help me to better understand the area, just so like when you are talking of a specific area. But yeah, we can go ahead and start. And a little bit of background of why we're doing these envisioning sessions. Currently, there are two community colleges in San Jose. There's the Evergreen Community College and the San Jose City College. They're both under the San Jose Evergreen Community College District. And that district is exploring bringing satellite programs to East San Jose. And we are doing these envisioning sessions because we are identifying, we, the community, are identifying what is needed, where, and when. And to talk a little bit more about the importance of a community college, this graph shows that the more education a person has, the more earnings that they will earn throughout their careers, and additionally, the unemployment rate will decrease. So we can see from the bottom that persons that have less than a high school diploma, the weekly earnings is about 619, and the unemployment rate is 11.7%. So, and as you can see, the more education that a person gets, the higher the earnings, and then the less unemployment rate that they experience. So we believe that education is a very powerful tool for our community, especially on the East Side. And with more education, it will lead to more job opportunities for young adults, for adults on the East Side. And then what can a community college offer? So they offer two types of education in a way. So they offer transfer majors. So for people who want to study this type of majors, biology, math, nutrition, chemistry, they could start at a community college, study 2 years. Community college is more affordable than other types of college. And then they can transfer to finish the last 2 years, last 2 or 3 years of their education. But also there are people who don't want to study for years. They want a short-term career. So they offer certificate programs, programs such as accounting, car technician, medical assistant, paralegal, and these are short careers that they could complete in 2 years. And this is the higher education systems. So there are 5 different type of higher education. The first one is vocational, when they go learn a skill, specific skill, and that's what they learn to perform. And so skills such as paralegal, mechanic, electrician, they could learn this type of skills that could lead them to this type of careers at a vocational school. There's the community college that I mentioned. A lot of people take the community college path to save money. It's more affordable. They could study 2 years, take their general courses, or identify what career they want to take, and then they transfer to a different college to complete their education. There's a Cal State University, which focuses a lot on research and humanities, such as history, education, languages. There's a University of California system, which focus a lot on sciences, on research, sciences such as biology. And there's also a lot of engineering programs at the University of California system. And then there's a private universities, so they're way more smaller. They have their own mission, they have their own careers, and they have their own funding. It's more private schools can be more expensive than the other options. But yeah, these are the higher education system. Additionally, financial aid is offered at a community college. It is important that students understand that there is this support, there is this financial aid that students could apply for to have this career. So some of the applications, the 2 applications is the FAFSA or the Dream Act application. And additionally, there are work study options for students. So if they want to work while studying, they will have those work opportunities. And additionally, California has the California Promise, which will cover 2 years of tuition for free. And this is something that the community college wants to share, wants to expand that information, wants to let everyone know, because it's for all people that want to apply to a community college. And yeah, this is just another slide with applications. Like I mentioned, the FAFSA, the Federal Student Aid, it's mostly geared for citizens or residents. But California has the California Dream Act application, where AB 540 students could apply for this financial assistance. And like I mentioned, there's a California Promise, which will be 2 years of free tuition for everyone that applies to this grant. Support programs. The community college also wants to let people know that their goal is to educate people, is to make sure that they graduate. So they do have support programs that could help them, the students, achieve their goals. Support programs include like counseling, financial aid support, student success workshops, career development, and additionally offers programs such as the TRIO program, the Puente program, which allows students to have that type of support and guidance for the students to complete their education and to finish and to get to their goals and to finish them. Now we're gonna go to this discussion, and we're gonna discuss what will help you and your community thrive and succeed at a community college. So I'm gonna discuss 5 different items that the community is interested in learning the community college is interested in learning from the community, and this is where we will discuss. I want to hear from you, and yeah. So just keep this question in mind: what will help you and your community thrive and succeed at a community college? And the first question is a satellite campus in your community. Um, the community college wants to get your opinions and ideas on what this satellite campus would look like. These are just some images, but they could be depending on where you think would be an ideal location. It could be a brand new building, or it could be a classroom at a high school, or it could be a partnership with the community center. So these are just some ideas, and just considering your community, where would this satellite campus be? So here are some guiding questions. So where would you like to see the satellite campus? And feel free to raise your hand, or feel free to speak up. I will be taking notes. So yeah.
I have a question, several questions,
Yes.
comments. Okay, my name is Daniel Reyes. Before going to the satellite campus, what exactly has, well, first, Tony, can you please tell me your background? Are you speaking on behalf of the college?
Yeah, so the college reached out to Luna to do this community outreach, and I am working on this community outreach. So the community college will hear from the community what will be the ideal locations, what will be what. I am the bridge between the community and the community college.
Okay, well,
Mhm.
both of you and I, and you'll see Roberto Reese also, his name pop out. I also work in the community. I'm a retired instructor from Gavilan College. I reside next to the college, and I've been involved in a program for young students from middle school to bring them to the college. The caveat has to be that they like math and science, and that their grades are from A and B, that they're minorities and low income. Now, when you say buildings, and you mentioned a new building,
Mhm.
to me, that's not necessarily has to be a new building.
Mhm.
To me, is to provide a curriculum and that is geared towards the parents, because most of our people, and I'm going to be referring to my people as Hispanics,
Mhm.
their parents have never gone or even put a foot at a community college, let alone know what is a unit, what are the different degrees. You mentioned, for example, that were certificates for the auto repair.
Mhm.
Actually, they have a degree, and they're working into making it a 4-year transferable to the university.
Oh.
But and in the cars, there are more computers nowadays than everywhere in the times that we went to the moon. So it's a very high skilled uh, job to have, and
Mhm.
they can make up to $150,000 when they're good technicians. All right. So coming back to my thing, I believe that before we talk about satellites,
Mhm.
where, when, how, I think you have to put the horse in front, and that means the curriculum to bring their parents and offer classes that would instruct them as to why it's important for the children to start at a younger age. And I'm talking about elementary school. guide them by keeping an eye on their grades, so their classes that they have taken will prepare them. So when eventually they graduate from high school, they'll be well served by the community college and not being remedial students. Because I lived in San Jose since 1960, and the ball has not moved that much since I arrived back in 1960. So when we're talking about having a satellite and we're talking about new buildings, I think it distracts from the main problem that we have. The majority in the east side that happen to be Hispanic, they don't know what it takes for the children to succeed at a college. And many of them don't even graduate from a high school. So we have to address that problem because that's the root of the problem. We have to make a project that says this is a constant, not every so often to provide that guidance, and pass it through our community, that there's a course that offers guidance to the parents on how the children can graduate from a university. Otherwise, nothing is going to happen except probably spending money and very little success in the results. Now, let me go a little bit further. Professor Celso from Evergreen College tried to bring students from high school with the same thing, minorities, low income, with grades in math and science. It was a fiasco. So that's when he contacted me, so if I could find students in middle school. And what I did, I didn't go to a satellite. I didn't go to a building that I rented. I brought them to my home but the parents have to come with the children. I offered them pizza, and I offered them instruction of what college was like, what it was required. For one unit that they would take is equivalent to 3 hours of homework at home. So all of this information, plus the cost difference between going to a university versus a community college, the fact that the community college offers you transferable units to the university, they have no idea of what we're talking about. So my contribution to this discussion, and I hope it's a dialogue and not just a monologue from my part, is that we have to understand the dynamics of the problem that we have and go to the root of the problem. Thank you. And I'm looking forward for other people to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Trudy?
Tony, thank you for the presentation. I live near Story and White. I actually attended both San Jose City and Evergreen for some classes, but I live just a few blocks from the National Hispanic University, the short-lived National Hispanic University. So I'm wondering if you can comment on what we learned about that experience and how we avoid losing a school like that once again. And some of those questions actually are connected to what Daniel was saying, and also some comments in the chat. It's like, what do we need the new building for if we can't have classes in perpetuity that support our community?
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Trudy. Peggy?
Hi. I live in the 95127 zip code by Allen Rock and White. And I would love to see satellite campuses in our community. I think that satellite campuses could be in multiple locations. And the reason for that is that it would be great to see the satellite campus on a high school so that students can enroll in dual enrollment in high school and community college classes. I think that would be really helpful for those students who are motivated to do that. But I think adults, and really, you know, it depends on, you know, our target population, but I think adults would probably prefer a place where they're with other older adults. And one of the ideas I have is I would like to perhaps explore having satellite campuses in the community rooms for libraries. And the reason for that is you want to be able to have access to materials for study and research materials that are nearby so that they can avail themselves of that resources. You know, we could have community classes during the day for parents who, you know, drop their kids off at school and then they could go and take 1 or 2 classes. That would take care of the childcare situation. And then finally, something that we've been doing on my campus, I work at SJSU, and I'm sure that this is going on in the community college, but I think it'd be really important is to make sure that classes that are offered have access to ebooks that are designed for the class. So the faculty would select some ebooks that students could use this way. They don't end up with a lot of, you know, expenses having to pay for books. That's just some, you know, I guess general education type classes might be good, you know, just for people to get like basic study skills, you know, how do you study, how do you write, that kind of thing would be good. For people that are just getting back into an educational system who've been out for a while, or maybe who were in school in Mexico or some other country and now they're here and they have to, you know, kind of get oriented. So those are some of the suggestions I have.
Great, thank you so much. The next point, and I know we're running out of time, but the next point is early college program in high school or dual enrollment. So dual enrollment is having high school students take community college classes in the high school. So the idea is that by the time they finish high school, not only are they going to finish with the high school diploma, but they will finish with 2 years of college credits. Again, what does this program look like to you and your children? What type of resources are needed to support high school students with these courses? And feel free to, feel free to speak up.
Again, you know, education has never, no, I shouldn't say never. Education has not been part of the majority of our people. And the children, where the parents have never been to a higher education participant, it's very difficult for them to value and instruct their children to maintain good grades. So they will go through the process of a high school, and most of them do not go to a college. Those are the statistics. And even from the ones that go to the college, I believe that only 10% of them graduate. So, I mean, we have to talk about the root of the problem. You have to understand, if we don't educate the parents, most likely it's going to continue the same pattern that I have seen since 1960s. So we have to address how we can bring parents to take some classes so they can be instructed how to best guide their children to continue their education and therefore being successful and get better wages.
Thank you. Juan?
Hi, everyone. So again, I'm Juan Estrada, and I was fortunate to attend more than one community college. I want to say 4, and that did include the local ones. And so my path, like some of others, was different, or maybe not so different, right? It's just different paths. And so I do hear you, Daniel, about factors that may make it challenging or more challenging for some kids to succeed. But I think the way I'm interpreting this is, and yet there's a need for some students, and what can we do for them? To your point, I think my mother only went to 3rd grade in Mexico. And so, yes, I didn't have the type of support some other children fortunately have. But that doesn't mean that there aren't students like me and others who attended community college. And so I think to the question of what should this program be, what should it look like? I don't have a lot of input. I do think it's a wonderful opportunity if we are able to offer courses directly in this area. I can tell you that as a community college student, one of the challenges one semester was, how do I get to Evergreen? How do I get to class on time? How do I, many challenges, but the point is that if there's another facility, if it's closer, it might make it easier for some students. So I think that's my input, that so far this looks like a something that could help meet the needs for some students. And I was also fortunate, I transferred from there to the UC system. And so everything worked out, and I hope it does for future students.
Thank you, Juan. And Peggy?
I think Reese is next. Robert Reese, I think he's next.
Oh, Robert?
Hi, I want to thank Luna and Tony and the district for bringing this together. Something that I think is important for the community to understand is that the rollout of this program did not have the full support of the trustees. It was put forward on a split vote, so that as we move forward with looking at increasing programs and courses at San Jose Evergreen Community College District, we understand that we need to show support for doing these things. In the big picture, I think it's important that community members understand the context in which San Jose Evergreen Community College offers courses and programs. We have a population of about 900,000 within the district boundaries, but we're only serving some 14,800 students, whereas De Anza Foothill has a population of about half of us, but they're serving 60,000 programs, students. The extent of programs and courses and offerings at De Anza Foothill far exceed those within our community college district, and we need to keep building support for additional programs and courses to serve our students so they don't have to go somewhere. This Eastside initiative is one way we can do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. Peggy?
I wanted to suggest a couple locations to possibly consider. There is Escuela Popular, which is on White Road, and it's really close to the high school there, plus the programming at the escuela themselves might be one location. And then the other one, in the previous speaker had talked about, I don't know if there's any room at the the old building for the National Hispanic University, but originally that, was designed with college classes and the library. I don't know how it's configured now, but wouldn't hurt to look at that.
Yeah, and just to add to Trudy questions, I've recently moved to San Jose. I'm not familiar with this university, so ideally there will be a college representative in here to answer these questions, but unfortunately they couldn't make it. But I can try to do the best I can to get an answer. But and having these places already built, I think that's also another option where they could just rent and not have to build. But yeah, thank you all for your comments. We can continue. Opportunities for adults. Let me get my notes here. So adults can also benefit from a community college. Adults that want to learn a new skill, open their business, take classes, languages. They also that want to have more opportunities at the community college. So, this is an example of a person wants to study to do. I'm blanking out the term, but like just having these type of skills that will open more opportunities for adults. So, what type of classes can adults take? In considering just as an adult, what would be the ideal class for adults to take?
I'm just curious, has the college done a needs assessment for the community?
I think this is a needs assessment in a way that this outreach is what the needs assessment that they're implementing. So and yeah, we want to hear from you so that they could identify and obviously this is just the first step. This process is going to continue and they will probably come back again to identify like if this is something that will be beneficial. But yeah.
I would say to offer classes during the weekend because most of our people work during the day and during the week. They come home late. With the traffic, it's very difficult to really take advantage of being in front of a class. As far as technical, I would say how to use the computer, how to navigate the internet, at least at that level, and probably from there to transfer to the community college campus afterwards.
Great, thank you. Linda?
Okay.
Linda? Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to. Okay, hi, everybody. When you're talking about classes for adults, are you talking about all ages of adults or just the kids out of high school that are going into the community college? What are you talking about?
Yeah, and I think it's all ages. So ideally, we are identifying like some people have mentioned that they wanna like learn, business because they do want to open a new business. They want to understand the process to opening a business. Some people like Daniel mentioned, they want to learn how to use the computer. So yes, I think we're being broad on purpose just so we can hear different perspectives from different like age ranges, just so and we can send this information to the community college and then they can identify what would be the ideal resources for adults. But yeah, I think it is open for everyone and we will identify the age range depending on the responses.
It used to be years ago, they had the night and weekend classes for different things like accounting, QuickBooks, all that kind of stuff, auto repair, whatever. But now when you look at the weekend and night classes that are offered, it's all, English as a second language or I don't know, that kind of thing, rather than, or GED, getting your GED, rather than something that's going to progress, really progress somebody, like somebody that wants to open a new business or that kind of thing. The type of resources that should be available are that like Peggy was saying, a needs assessment. What does the community need to move forward?
Mm-hmm.
Just listening to what we've all had to share, it sounds like you need a mix of things, right? Some vocational, some level to academia, introduction. And then also you'd want some things that are interesting for adults to study,
Mhm.
or something it's like a general ed class that they could take that would be like engaging and fun for them to learn, but then if they want to continue, it can actually apply as a college credit.
Great.
I think that's a
Thank
good
you.
point. That's a really good point.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I know we're a little over late. Two more items, and then community college services. Community college offer this type of services such as CalWorks, extended opportunity program and services, the Puente project, the TRIO program. So yeah, what type of services should we offer in your community to help with education?
Again, I've been involved with the kids from middle school. They were all low income.
Mhm.
They're not. I mean, some of them were struggling with academically, but we had the support of Professor Celso and his the people that are working with him. He's the professor in science at Evergreen College. And this, just to let you know, this summer, two of the kids of the original 8 students took the pre-calculus class, and we gave them $1,500
Oh, wow.
with the condition that they were going to take the calculus class and be successful. So there is support when we look for it, but the parents do not know where to look for. That's a problem. The college is an institution, and it's not very easy to navigate through the bureaucracy. You go to the college itself, and it's not easy to find the classrooms. So let alone someone that never been part of his life to be at a college campus. They go to soccer games, but to the college itself, you don't see them. You go to the library, and you don't see many brown faces.
Mm.
So there is a problem, systemic problem that we have to address. And I don't think I hope that is not the last time that we talk about this. And maybe we can continue having this discussion as to what's a strategic plan to address the hard issues.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Linda, do you want to comment?
I have a question.
Mhm.
What is the CalWorks program? I've heard of the other ones, but I have not heard of CalWorks. What are those? And you might want to define them for everybody.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so CalWorks is the service for students for low income, and ideally, again, sorry for this, but ideally there will be a college representative that would talk about this in more detail. I try to make it as easy, digestible as possible. So CalWorks is a service that supports low income students with different programs such as like the EBT, and it gives them this opportunity. It gives families, low income families, more resources, like such as the EBT, food.
Sí, estoy
Yeah,
ocupado ahorita.
yeah, and I do apologize. I should have been more prepared and understanding each of these points. But yeah, I can
May I?
try to write an explanation via email. Yeah, that's for me. Yeah.
It's my understanding that CalWorks is for people that are in welfare, and their goal is to prepare them to be able to go to work after a certain amount of time in order to continue providing that financial help from them, from the state.
Thank you, Daniel. Great. we can continue the last one. So community college resources. And again, resources, I'm being very broad. As an example, it could be a computer lab, but it could really be identifying what resources, especially from your as community members, but also considering that resources could be limited and the district has to prioritize. And again, resources could be like books, could be computer labs, could be Wi-Fi at the home of the students. So, but considering this, the resources could be limited. Like imagine that a satellite campus is built in your neighborhood. Funding is limited, but they can provide 5 resources to help you or your community succeed. And what would be these resources, and how does it help you?
Again, from the students that I already mentioned, there were 8 students. Now we have 32 solid students. We provide them with computers that the college lends to them, and also provide for them to have Wi-Fi. They are not limited. It's just a matter of asking for. I believe that the college, because especially nowadays that with the COVID, a lot of the classes were through long distance learning. So the college understand the need for the students to have access to Wi-Fi and to have access to having a computer. So they have loaners for the students, not give them to them, but loaners. Thank you.
Thank you, Anel. Stephanie?
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm here on behalf of Senator Steve Cortese, and I just wanted to make a small comment regarding Section 5, Community College Resources. And I think as someone who graduated from a community college, I think, what was it, 2 years ago in spring of 2020, I graduated from Santa City College. And I do want to say that one of the resources that helped me succeed was definitely a strong transfer center. I think my sophomore year, I spent maybe once or twice a week at the transfer center. I was there almost every week, just trying to get as much resources and information in order to transfer. And I think definitely this will help me and other students that I knew transfer that year. Unfortunately, the pandemic hit during that time, so I didn't get to continue benefiting from the transfer center in person. And it was, like we all know, very difficult to get help during that time, but definitely a strong transfer center at community college would be very beneficial to help students succeed at a community college, so that they are able to transfer after, if that's what they wish and if that's their goal.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. Peggy?
Thank you, Stephanie, for mentioning that, because you reminded me counseling, whether it's occupational counseling or academic counseling, like, what's the next class to take? Where should I take it? How does it fit within an academic plan? So I agree, access to computers, whether it's in a library or a school with a computer or laptops and hotspots that people couldn't have. Access to research materials, so library card, or, steer them to the MLK library. We've got lots of stuff. And then electronic ebooks would be really helpful. So students can use the e-textbooks instead of having to purchase the e-textbooks. That's my list.
Thank you. Thank you, Peggy. Linda?
I'm thinking that some of the resources that can help the students succeed, maybe a study center where they can go, away from their home to do their homework and whatever, with tutors available to help them through the hard spots. At home, there's so many parents, the educational process has moved so far ahead of most of the parents that they have no idea even the new math, so I think if there were study centers, maybe at libraries, like Peggy was saying, with tutors to help these students, whether they be students or adults, you know, to get through the process. If they want to succeed, they might need a little help.
Thank you, Linda. Danielle?
I'm glad to see Stephanie from the office of Senator Dave Cortese. And I have to mention that Senator Dave Cortese provided $1 million to Evergreen College to do an in-depth study on how to best use the 27 acres that at one time they were thinking that it was surplus land. And through Professor Celso and other staff, academic staff, we're proposing to have a museum and a planetarium one day at that site. And we're working on that. The community is involved. And as a matter of fact, next Friday, we're going to Merced College to look at their museum and planetarium to get an idea of what it would take for us in the Evergreen and the east side to have that magnet for future students, that they can go and take field trips from elementary to high school. Please give our regard to Senator Dave Cortese. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. I know I wasn't checking too much on the chat, but is it possible to use a review? I'm not sure about that. Again, I think ideally these resources will come as soon as possible. And yeah, and like we mentioned, satellites campuses, so it ideally will be in different locations. And then I agree with Daniel. So you will respond. Meeting went okay. I think that's it from me. Thank you all for your time, for your feedback. This was very important for the community college. I don't think this will be the last time you will hear from this, because they really want to hear from the community. They will probably continue doing this outreach, because they know the community college understand that the community is the one that will be using the resources and the services. So they want to know, they want to get it right. And this is not going to be the only time. In the future, I'm sure the community college representatives will come and try to do a more detailed proposal, maybe a more detailed needs assessment. But yeah, thank you all for your time.